2 years ago, Liberal frontbencher Andrew Robb announced he was suffering depression and took a brief break from public life. Now he's written about it and is urging others to seek help. But Black Dog Daze is also a frank account of his desire to lead and his role in toppling a leader. National Affairs correspondent Heather Ewart reports.
Yeah.
See you, mate.
Yeah, righto. Yeah, see you.
For years, Andrew Robb has been braving chilly temperatures at sea baths in his Melbourne electorate to try to beat the morning blues.
He'll be dead without this cap.
I thought the exercise would perhaps have a material impact on my mood. I don't know that it changed my mood that greatly. There's a whole lot of things that I was doing to try and what I thought was release endorphins.
I noticed he just keep totally to himself, do his own thing, barely just say hi, how are you, and walk on and be on his own. And I thought, well, for a local politician who's coming into the area, that's pretty strange.
He confronted me a year into swimming and told me something to the effect, Andrew, a lot of the lads here think you're up yourself.
It was enough to force him to be more sociable towards his fellow swimmers, but still not yet enough for him to confront the problem that had plagued him since his early teens.
In fact, I didn't admit I had a depressive condition for probably 43 years, even though I was doing all these silly things to try and get myself in the proper frame of mind.
The warning signs began when this second eldest of 9 children started secondary school and woke every morning feeling down.
I'd be going to the train and I'd be looking at all the old fellows who were retired, picking up their papers or whatever, and wishing that I'd gone through all those stages of responsibility or I'd reached their stage of life, which was pretty sad when you think back on it.
Nice moustache.
Did you see the ones with, yeah, you like that? Yeah, I had that for a long time. You don't like it, I know, but you can.
The mood would pass as the morning progressed, but with marriage, children and career promotions at the National Farmers Federation, Liberal Party headquarters and eventually a seat in Parliament, the morning blues were lasting longer and longer.
Certainly in his 50s, so that's 10 years now, that it was really noticeable. Much more later on during the day.
It was leadership rumblings in the Liberal Party during Malcolm Turnbull's reign that would be the catalyst for Andrew Robb to finally face his demons. He says colleagues like Peter Costello were asking him to consider challenging for the top job.
The obvious ones were Joe Hockey and Tony Abbott, but at that stage they were not interested. There was really no plan B, and I kept saying I'm interested, but I've got to think about it. And really what I was thinking about then was this condition in the morning, which was getting later and later. Was it compatible with those responsibilities?
At what point did you think, I've got to get help? And what did you do?
I finally rang Jeff.
He then said to me he wanted help. He's been suffering from this illness for almost all of his life. And I said, that's fine, leave it with me. I will find someone who is appropriately skilled in this area to see if they'll see you.
I went to a psychiatrist. I tried to go under the radar.
The sooner in the course of illness a person is treated, the more likely you are to get a quick and effective treatment. Also, sometimes you need to try a little bit to see which is the most appropriate treatment.
Did you hope the leadership was still within your grasp if the medication had worked?
Yes. I mean, we're all ambitious in that business and you like to see how far things will take you. But I did realise that it was not possible.
That's because he and his wife were warned that trial and error medication could mean his condition worsened before he got better.
Andrew could fall into greater depression and he may need, there may be thoughts of suicide, and that I had to be aware of that.
The side effects of the medication were just the worst 4 weeks of my life.
How difficult was that for you to cope with?
I was fairly anxious, I think, at the time, but just took each day as it came.
He's been diagnosed, he's getting treatment and is bravely speaking about it. Andrew Robb, good morning.
By this stage, Andrew Robb knew he had to go public and withdraw himself from the front bench until his treatment took effect.
After a while I thought, this is madness. You know, I'm putting enormous pressure on myself.
Both political parties wished him well. And I thought, hallelujah, this is a fantastic scenario where we have somebody who's got a very senior position, who is a politician, who's declared that he has depression, and this has been responded to positively.
I think it is a brave step to have made, but it's very effective because it's a fantastic public service.
It's not just Andrew Robb. There are other senior politicians in Canberra and elsewhere in the country who have suffered depressive illnesses or mental illnesses who are now holding very senior jobs. 10 years ago, yes, it might have limited career prospects. Today, quite the opposite.
Buoyed by the response and the spike in people seeking help, Andrew Robb decided to write a book about his experiences, officially launched today.
I do now wish I had tackled it earlier, but you can't look back, really. If I have some effect on encouraging people to go and confront it, then that's a great thing.
At the end of the book, you say that you still have leadership aspirations. Do you think you've missed whatever chance there was?
I may well have, certainly for the foreseeable. It's closed, but I just like to make the most of whatever talents I've got, and so if opportunities presented themselves for more senior positions, and I was up to it, yes, I'd like to do that. And there's some books here if you'd like to buy one, please. Thank you.
Heather Hewitt with that report.